How's it going, guys? This is Alex bringing you another deck profile, this time with my gold Paladin deck that I recently used at a chop challenge over in Hamilton, Ohio. I went 4-1, ended up finishing second place overall. Without further ado, this is the deck I ran. I will go through some of the cards I ran, as well as the changes I would do in the future. First off, I have my Crimson Lion Cub. He is really the only starter you should run this build, just because he helps you get the Superior Rides off. Next up, I run probably the MVP of the deck, Raven-haired Ezel. His first effect's really good. You'll get the Superior Ride off with Blonde Ezel. Superior Ride into him, if you have a second counter blast, get plus 15k and a crit, which is really the reason you run him. He doesn't do nearly as much in terms of like overwhelming somebody with attacks, but he's really good as a finisher, kind of the waterfall of the deck. If you don't have the Blonde Ezel though, really hate seeing him. Speaking of Blonde Ezel, next card I run, 4 of the Blonde Ezels, really is one of the best finishers the deck has, to be honest. You can ride him, get to circle, swing, call another card, and just start chaining off a ton of attacks. So if you don't get into Raven-hair, you really don't have to worry too bad, because he will get you there as well, as getting the Superior Ride. Get multiple circles going, try to get them circles before your opponent even gets to grade 2. Next up, I run one of, which is Sagamore. This is one of the cards I would change. I would probably run 2 of him in my deck, not just one. On call, draw a card. Call a card is really good, especially Blonde Ezel. Rebuild a second board, swing again, get 6 attacks off in a turn, win the game. Really good card. Speaking of which, let's get into the Superior Rides. First off, we have Wonder Ezel. Every time I rode him, I had the Howl on hand, or if I didn't have the Howl in hand, I had a way to fetch him out. Insane card. You ride him, get the Blonde Ezel. Blonde Ezel goes to Raven-hair, win the game, save the world. His other effect, win plays, call another card from hand. Really good if you don't get to Raven-hair, just build a second board, swing again, just overwhelm the opponent before they even get to grade 3. But for some reason, if you don't get him, you do have Nightosphere skills as well. His skill is on place, pitch 1, search your deck for the grade 1. There's not really anything bad you can say about the card. Like, even when placed for doing an effect, he goes to 12k for the turn, make a 22k column, get swings off against those protect decks, really be able to overwhelm them again. Anytime you can force 15k guard on somebody, especially the protect deck, you're going to win the game eventually. There's no way they can keep up. And lastly, my grade 1 lineup is Player of the Holy Bow Vivian. This guy, when I said there were times where I didn't have the grade 1 with the Wonder Ezel, I was able to fetch it out with Vivian. Vivian's Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 was able to get me the Howl I need. The Howl ended up giving me Superior Ride. Not only that, but calling her, calling another card, just ended up being good overall. Like, you just can't go wrong playing her. Next up is my grade 1s. Speaking of Howl, probably the best grade 1 you run in deck. One of the best cards, to be honest with you. Just a Counterblast 1, put in a soul, draw a card, call a card. Gives you Raven-hair, the Blonde Ezel skill, or your Blonde Ezel ability to call 2 cards. Can't ever complain about that. Always get some good effects off. Build a new board, swing again. All of a sudden you're looking at 7 to 8 attacks a turn. Just no one can really keep up with that. They don't hit a defense trigger. Beat them when they even if they hit the grade 3, they're not getting 2 turns of it. Next is a card that I've had a lot of people tell me I should cut the 3. I disagree. Knight of Elegant Skills, Gareth, on call, from an effect, Counterblast 1 plus 10k. So you call him with the grade 2, put him out, Counterblast 1, make him 18, Superior Ride, get the Ezell circle, play a new card. You're looking at like 3 attacks that are just building numbers off them, especially against Force. So you're now building 18k columns. Force out that 10k guard, maybe a 15k guard, maybe make them over guard him. Just a really good card. Next is another card I wish I ran 3 of. That is Dendrain. She was clutch in a lot of my games this drop challenge, especially against card decks like Angel Feather and OTT. They like to keep me at like 3 damage. Wasn't really giving me any Counterblast to play with. Being able to Superior call him to unflip a damage, huge. And especially when I was playing top 4 against Angels, he just refused to give me a face-up damage. I already played one that game. The other one was my damage zone, so I had no way to unflip. I really had to take a risk to end up winning that game. If I ran another one, wouldn't really have to take that risk. The game would have been secured a lot quicker. Next, the card I would cut, I thought he was going to be awesome. That's Knight of Vitality. On paper, I thought he was going to be really good. I could Superior Eye, draw a card, call a card. Just more ways to replace himself. In practice, though, I think I did him once in the entire tournament. If he was a Dindrain, if he was really anything else, I would have been much better. I'm probably going to cut one for a Dindrain and one for a Sagramore. Kind of just mess up my grade 1 lineup a bit, make it a little bit less consistent in that front. But overall, at least get cards that would be good overall. Let me know in the comments if you think I should change it to maybe a different grade 1. Would love to know your guys' thoughts. Next up is my trigger lineup. We'll start with 4 heals. Because why wouldn't you run 4 heals? Healing is good. If you could run 16, you would. Next is my perfect draws. I run 4 of them. Not much you can say. Perfect guards are good. Didn't have any room to grade 1 slots to run to grade 1 perfect guards. So kind of just was able to substitute them out for the grade 0 perfects. The ability to draw as well. Just condense space, make the deck more compact overall. And last but not least, my 8 crit triggers. I know that I originally went into it not wanting to play 8 crits. I was actually wanting to play 6 crits, 6 draw. But I actually didn't even have these crits. I have to thank one of my friends. He lent me the crits to play with. Just that way I wouldn't kind of be stuck playing front triggers in a deck I didn't want to play fronts in. Ended up being clutch though. I ended up winning the 2nd round and 4th round because of it. 2nd round was against Waterfall. 4th round against Gold Paladin in the mirror. In those games, I was sitting at my opponent was sitting at 3 damage. Swung on with Ravenhair and hit the crit for game. Just able to just steal a game against both of them, which ended up working very well for me. Overall, the tournament went really well. I lost the first round against Nectar. The guy I played against was actually insanely good. I actually misplayed though. I superior rode the Ravenhair. Forgot to play my second Excel circle off of the 2nd ride, and that ended up costing me in the end. Round 2, I played against Waterfall. Waterfall is a really tough matchup. I was actually at 3 damage when he waterfalled me, and I had to take the attack. Luckily, he didn't hit the crit, so I ended up winning that round. The following turn, I Ravenhaired with a crit, and then I hit the crit off the trigger check. Game 3, I played against Narukami. Narukami, it was a player I knew, and he knew kind of what I was playing. I ended up really overextending every turn. I ended up playing crits from my hand on the rear guard slots, just that way he couldn't get the restand effect off. I eventually just dwindled his deck down. Round 4, I played against a Gold Paladin deck. It was another one of my friends. He wasn't playing Ezel, though. He was actually playing the Garmor build. That game, he didn't even get the Garmor, didn't even get the grade 3. That round only took about 2 minutes. I ended up double critting for game. Round 5, I actually played against an OTT player that was sitting next to me the entire tournament. We both knew what each other was playing. He sat me at 3 damage pretty much the whole game. He ended up going into Deer and hit 1 crit off the Deer checks. So when he swung, I just took the attack, hoping he didn't have a double crit. He didn't. He only hit 1 crit, so turned my my Ravenhair Ezel online, and I just Ravenhaired him for game. That goes to top 8. In top 8, my first round was against the Nectar player I played in first round. That game was really close, and I eventually just got the win. Game 2 in top 4 was against the undefeated Angel Feather player. Probably the most difficult game I played all night. Both of us refused to give each other damage. We both had 3 damage face down. I didn't want to let him heal, and he didn't want to give me Ravenhair. Eventually, he rode Mobile Hospital and swung. Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, gave his Vanguard a crit. I just let it hit, hope he didn't hit a crit trigger. I needed the Counter Blast to win the game. And he didn't hit the crit, and I just proceeded to Ravenhair him out for game. The finals, though, was a really cool game. The deck I wasn't expecting to run into, and that was the Hamskay build for Great Nature. I ended up getting Great Stuck at 1, so I didn't get the 2 until the next turn. And he hit the entire Hamskay chain, and he hit 3 draw triggers on his first 3 damage, and he healed. So I just couldn't put any aggression on him, and he just eventually just won due to advantage. Overall, I actually wasn't expecting to play the deck in the tournament. I actually went there to play OTT. It was the deck I consider the best right now in the format. Definitely will stick with the Gold Paladin, though. I don't regret playing it at all. It was a very Ezell heavy tournament, even though I didn't really play against them. Just a lot of the decks I didn't play against was the Ezell deck. But I do have to thank everyone that talked me into playing. And if you guys want to see a different deck profile, let me know. Or if you want to see any games, I have a couple games recorded with this deck in play against Narukami, and I'll post them soon. If you do have any decks that you want to see or gameplay decks you want to see, please let me know down below, and I'll gladly record it. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful day.